Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to the Leafy Camo Podcast, where we fully cover all things Pokemon. Today, I'm joined, as always, by Dallas White and Bobby Lawler. So, we have a lot of things going on this week. We are going to be, of course, looking at the Hartford Regional Championships, which all three of us went to, which is great. The Malmo Regional Championships, some controversies that happened at both events. More on that later. Of course, guess that flavor text. It is Dallas's turn to try to stump us, and he said last week he's pulling out some vintage, so that should be interesting. And then last but not least, we're going to, of course, do our usual checkup on NC-based events and our Carolina-based events and see what we got going on coming up this week. So anyway, Bobby, how was your weekend this past weekend, my friend?
Oh, the weekend was great. It all started with a flat. On our way to Connecticut. That was great. Fun time. Sorry, Daniel. But overall, it was a fun trip. 12-hour drive. Did okay. It is what it is.
What did you end up playing again? Like Lost Box, like Turbo Kyogre shenanigans, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So yeah, overall, not the best performance board for you, but I'm sure that we still had fun. Bobby stayed with me in a super sketch ass hotel, which honestly didn't look that bad on the internet, but like holy shit, that hotel was sketch as fuck. I dead ass hooked it because like these guys went home a day early, and I freaking hit up Dallas to be like, yo, can I stay in your freaking haunted house with you guys? Because he's fucking Dallas got them hookups, and he's fucking staying in some freaking old ass house up in Connecticut or something. And he's like, oh no, we're heading home. And I'm like, well, fuck. So I had to stay in the sketch ass hotel by myself. All right, I'm not picking hotels anymore. So,
yeah, we left at like 8 o'clock in the morning, and we dipped and went back to Baltimore. Drove back on a donut.
Oof.
And then we stayed the night at Chris's house.
Okay. Anyway, Dallas, how was your weekend, my friend? What'd you play? How'd you do? Etc. Etc.
So, finally played Lugia at a regional, and surprisingly did the best I've ever done at a regional. It wasn't great, 4-3-2. My round one opponent ended up taking second place overall, so I can't really complain about that. And two of my opponents made top 16, so I was pretty content.
And you took a game off him too, I believe, right? So there you go.
Yeah,
there was that.
Yeah, both of them.
Hey, let's go. Very nice. As I drop some cards, but yeah. So overall, a great weekend. Despite the sketchy ass hotel, I enjoyed myself. I brought my cards. I didn't get to play a single game. But whatever. that's my own fault, I guess. But yeah, picked up some cute plushies. Got some swag. Yeah, oh yeah, Bobby got like a super cute deck box, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Got my Miraidon staff mat, which is awesome. Very happy about that. And just
I stole
overall,
mine.
Yeah, but
Hey,
yours
I got
doesn't say
$40.
staff. So.
Hey, I got $40 for mine. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, it's fine. But yeah, overall it was a good weekend. From the staffing side, quite honestly, this was like, I don't have a ton of reference, but because this is only the second regionals that I have staffed, but oh my god, this was easily the best staffing experience that I have ever had. This was just so good. It's just like. Yeah, like we got treated so well for lunch because we're staff, so we're special. We get lunch breaks, get bent players. So we had like a little sandwich bar, which was awesome. So yeah, super happy about that. And he just overall just like was such a really well done event. I judged all of day one. which was great. I got taken away for a few rounds to go help juniors and seniors, which was fine. I'm there to help, so I always want to do that. And then the Sunday I judged the Cup, which was super fun. The Cup was won by an Arc Dura Umbreon with a Lost Zone deck getting second place that included Aerodactyl V-Star, which was super cool. And definitely looking forward to seeing that list whenever he puts it out. So yeah, there was nice. Gardevoir made top 4 at the Cup. Let's go. So I'm happy about that. And do what, Dallas?
It's not a real event.
Oh my god. Yeah, okay.
Thank you, Dallas.
Oh
Thank
my
you, Dallas.
god. And then I saw a Reggie's that he won at least 3 games. He won at least 3 games.
Shit.
I kind of lost track of him throughout the day, but he did win bare minimum 3 games. I know, which is pretty freaking spicy. I have no idea, but like I kind of lost track of him throughout the day, but that was super cool to see somebody freaking keeping the spice going with Reggie's, which was super fun. So, but yeah, so overall, pretty great weekend. I know that Dallas, you're heading out to Milwaukee, not this weekend, but the next weekend after. So, that's awesome. Of course, we'll have a little bit of a discussion about that next week. But I know that you're probably excited about that and just keep improving, and you'll keep it up. So, but yeah, so pretty much that's about it. I know that NAIC registration happened last week, like after we started recording, and it was a big nightmare. So, Dallas, unfortunately, I think that you didn't get in, so that sucks. But,
neither did I.
Yeah, so neither one of y'all make
Chris
it to
did.
NAIC.
Chris
Okay,
did.
so Chris did. So yeah, the I heard the process was super whack. But then again, like I don't know. The thing that I have to say about that is just be patient. Keep an eye out. There is always a potential for a 4th wave or more slots opening up. So keep an eye out for that. But, enough about all of that. We've been rambling for a little bit. Let's go ahead and finally get into talking about some Pokémon. So the events that we were talking about this weekend today, of course, were the regionals up in Hartford, Connecticut, and the regional in Malmo. Now, there was also a special event down in Argentina, but for some reason, the internet thinks that didn't happen. I don't know. But, yeah, so also the funniest thing, Malmo and Hartford were won by Fusion Mew, of all things. Who the hell had Fusion Mew on their bingo card?
Yeah, not I.
Not I.
So yeah, Rowan ended up taking it down with Fusion Mew, which honestly makes sense. Arceus was seeing a ton of hype, especially Arcdura Umbreon, when in the later rounds, because I rejoined Masters, I think in like round 8, all the top tables were just flooded with Arceus Dura. It was absolutely insane to see that much Arceus on the board. So yeah, Fusion Mew, incredibly aggressive deck, gets up and going very fast as long as you can get the combos, and yeah, that's really cool. This is a little all over the place. We see only the 2 Sparkle. We see 1 Roxanne, 1 Penny. The supporter line is practically non-existent. There's that stinking Crystal Cave that I still will never understand in this deck. I mean, I get why but like at the same time, why? But yeah, and then the four energy and the 3 double turbo. Yeah, that's fun. So yeah, and included the Deoxys. This Deoxys is super interesting. Has the photon boost attack, does 80 damage, and if it has a fusion strike energy attached, it does 80 more. So able to swing. It's gonna be 140 with the reduction from double turbo on turn 1 is very cool. For sure. And then Melodious Echo, Meloetta. I kind of like this deck. I think it's a little bit too high rolly for me, but in best of 3, it can definitely makes sense. I probably would never really bring this to a best of 1 though. What do you guys think?
No, I would double turbo, just straight control Mew if I'm going best of 1. Best of 3, I don't hate it, but still, it doesn't feel as efficient. But I mean, clearly, yeah. I mean, I think whenever Lugia bricks in the finals.
Hell, I would play it in best of 1.
You would play this in best of 1?
Just because of Deoxys, like if you're going against a Lost Box Kyogre, that Deoxys helps out so much against single prizes, and that's the problem. If you're going against a single prize Lost Box, just like playing pure single prizes, Deoxys helps out so much. It takes 2 turns for them to kill it. Now, if they have a Sableye, different story, but that is what it is. But if they're going with the Cram, they're killing it in 2 turns.
For sure. So, yeah, overall, pretty interesting. Like I said, like nobody really had Fusion Mew on their card, which is kind of crazy. And then Grant Shen and Dallas's round 1 opponent ended up taking its second place with the Lugia. So Dallas, what do you think about this?
Big fan of Grant incredible when it comes to sequencing. He's fantastic. Our deck is identical except for the Nest Balls. I ended up swapping for Great Balls over Nest Balls just so I'd have the Pumpkaboo out or the Lumineon out if needed. So I'm sacrificing a little consistency, but Grant's great at sequencing. Like, fantastic player.
Cool. So this is pretty standard for what we've been seeing Lugia run. I think that if you're getting into Lugia and just learning the deck, and I think that you can literally just take this 60 and just kind of run with it. I think that this is like super close to optimal 60 for Lugia at the moment for this build of Lugia, that is. So very cool. I probably wouldn't change a single card in this list. I think it's just a super well done deck. So that's pretty cool. So Lugia ended up getting 3rd place as well, which is really nice. And yeah, it's looking pretty much the same. I see one. Is there 1 card difference? I can't tell. Dallas.
No, there's in the 2 decks. They're identical.
Okay, so these are
they're right. Yeah.
Oh, these are identical decks. Okay, so
yeah.
Oh yeah, they are identical decks. Yep, Grant Shen right there. Boom. So yeah, identical 60 is getting 2nd and 3rd place, which is super cool. We have Luke Smith making top 4, finished around at the top 4 with a more traditional Mew. This is like kind of your standard Mew. They're running 3 Forest Sealed Stone, which is kind of crazy. With the Cleansing Gloves, the Choice Belts, the 4-Path, the Judges. They are playing the Oricorio, which I find is kind of interesting and makes a lot of sense. It helps into like the Arceus matchup and stuff like that. Which is nice. It helps because then Giratina can't really, swing and hit that 310 against you as long as the Oricorio is in play, which is cool. But yeah, so this is still kind of like my preferred Mew, despite us seeing the other Mew doing well. I still would probably lean towards this kind of build. But yeah, I mean, great build. Any thoughts on this one, guys?
Honestly,
just your basic.
It's a very basic, straightforward, the way it should be. Mew VMAX, especially with the cleansing gloves, the choice belt. I don't love one choice belt, but it works.
Well, I get it. Like, I mean, I don't think you need 3 Forest Seal Stone, but it is definitely a massive consistency boost.
Oh yeah.
So, I mean, that's pretty much like the only cut that I would probably make is just go back down to 2 Forest Seal, throw in the choice belt, and there you go. Because I mean, the cleansing gloves also kind of works as another choice belt into like the mirror and like Gardevoir specifically. So there's that at least. But yeah, so super cool. Mew list is nice. Rounding out with Daniel Altavia getting the 5th place with Turbo Lost Box Kyogre. So, Bobby, I don't think I ever saw your list, but is this looking like pretty much what you kind of played?
Yeah, I took out my beach course and played 2 Pokestop.
Okay.
Same thing. Except for I played 3 Recycler instead of 4.
Yeah,
I took the 4th one out and put a boss in.
Yeah, that's like the big change. Like no boss, which I mean it makes sense. You the goal of your end game is just to nuke the board with Kyogre anyway. So I suppose it makes sense. And you have the ropes, which is kind of like a baby boss, in a way. And the recyclers are just fantastic for not only getting your attackers back up and running, but to of course get that Kyogre end game going. And your lost zones or your flower selectings are a lot more flexible if you hit a recycler early, because you have all 4. You have 4 of them, so you're not going to miss maybe 1. So that's pretty nice. Super grid list. I think I would like to see maybe a Fog Crystal sneak its way back in, maybe a second Vacuum or something. But overall, I mean, this is a great list. Again, like I was saying with the Lugia, like I think if you're wanting to start learning some Turbo Lost Box, I think that this is kind of a great place to start, and then just kind of go from there. It's a super well piloted list. I saw Grant, Azul, all of them in this little group doing very well on day 2 whenever I was able to sneak a peek over there. So they were all in top 8 contention with this exact list, which is really, really cool. And now I can actually play it because I now finally have a Dragonite V. I don't know why it took me so long to get a Dragonite V, but I do now. So that's super cool. Raymond Long gets 6th place with a very interesting Lost Box. They're including the Wild Freeze Articuno that can paralyze the opponent and do 50 damage to itself. So pretty cool. Really good into those like high HP mons that you can't really knock out super quickly, like Dura, Lugia. Think of the decks that don't play limited to no switch outs. This is really good into those kind of decks, which is nice. But only 2 different energy types, which is nice, makes sense. But and then Thumping Snorlax, which is cool. So, Bobby, you have any thoughts on this Lost Box build?
So I was actually playing this on live during lunch at work today, and I was going against Guard. Articuno is so stupid against that deck. It is awesome. I love it. I took out one of the guard EXs, and then after that he set up another one. And then after I took the 2 prizes, I was like, all right, cool, we're gone. I'm just take as much as I can. And he had 3 left. And then I just Kyogre'd and set up for game, and then it was just like, oh, this deck is actually pretty nutty with the Articuno.
Yeah, for sure. I kind of like, like you were kind of mentioning, I really like the Articuno, just stall out, set up math for Kyogre. I mean, it's a single prize Pokemon that, is doesn't matter if you
I
even knock yourself
love
out.
single prize decks.
Yeah, true. So, and like that's the one thing I like about these kind of Kyogre decks is like they're the pure single prize decks. Like it gives you more time to get up and running with the Kyogre. Gives you the maximum time that you can, and then potentially even punish them with like a Roxanne, which is nice. So that is pretty cool. So there is that, and then 7th place we have the Arcdura Umbreon. This deck was everywhere this tournament, like I stated before. Looks like only one snuck its way in, though, so that's that. So we have Arc, V-Star, Umbreon, and then the 2/2 line of Duraludon, with the Radiant Alakazam and the Hawlucha. And now I do have to say, last week when we were talking about this deck for the first time, I didn't really understand the Hawlucha and the Radiant Alakazam. And now that I've actually become more aware of what it's supposed to do, because like what it's supposed to do is it helps you set up for 220 HP targets to knock out on turn 2. And you know, just in general, you can set up Alakazam plays throughout the game. So yeah, like that makes way more sense, and I feel stupid for not noticing that earlier. Kind of cool that they're playing the single strike energy. I really like that. Makes the Umbreon a little bit more of a threat, and just helps Duraludon reach that 240 benchmark, which it can potentially struggle with. And then can potentially even reach up to 270, which is also another good number to hit in the game right now. So that's pretty nice. Yeah, overall super cool. We see the Adventures Discovery, which is nice, being able to just load up all your Pokemon into your hand, which is great, and of course has good synergy with Umbreon, being able to get that effectively a search for a boss, which is pretty cool. But yeah, any thoughts on this one, guys? Is this kind of like the definitive deck list for this kind of archetype?
Most definitely.
I mean, so it's not bad as long as it's sequenced correctly. I ended up going against 2 of these at regionals. Ended up beating both of them, just because for some reason the pilot didn't seem to think that okay, I'm a Lugia player going against a Duraludon. Don't put up any other, just leave and just.
Do what? What'd you say there? You kind of broke up a little bit. Sorry about that.
I'm like putting the Duraludon VMAX in the active and just let it swing over and over, because there's nothing a Lugia player can do about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, all right, I'll just play the boss game and I'll just knock out 3 other cards instead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that you definitely need to pilot it well. It can be that potentially really annoying thing for the Lugia player, but then Lugia player is just going to be able to, like you said, boss around it or do other crazy stuff. But yeah, so there is that. So yeah, and then
like when it doesn't get set up, you might as well concede.
Yeah, I can kind of see that. Yeah, it definitely relies on like that usual Arceus. You need like that turn 1, Arceus and attachment. If you don't get that, then you're kind of screwed, kind of situation. But yeah, overall, pretty cool. Well, to round out the top 8, we have another Mew. Again, one of the more standard Mew. This time playing a Manaphy. So this guy was teched out for the Kyogres. I don't know. Yeah, it has kind of like all the standard Mew stuff. You know, the Path to the Peaks, the Judges. This one playing a Penny, which I thought was kind of neat. Makes a lot of sense. You know, maybe like you can pick up the Manaphy, or if you're getting potentially kind of locked out of the game, you can get the Genesect out of the way, or something like that. But yeah. So what do you guys have any thoughts about this Manaphy?
I honestly love that. I love that Kyogre's getting to a point to where you have to add a tech to your deck just to deal with it. I hate it, but I get it.
for sure. So, Bobby, you got any thoughts on this? They are playing the Lost City. I'm covering up Lost City down here. So yay, they're putting the Lost Cities back into the Muse. But yeah, kind of weird, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, but it was good enough for top 8, so we can't.
That one got 10th.
Oh, it.
Top 8 was somebody else.
Oh yeah.
Maybe. So yeah. But yeah, so that's it. We look at our top 8s. You could scroll down here. Seems like they have all of stage 2, which is great. Got like a Palkia Gardevoir deck making day 2. We got Gudra in here. We got Miraidon and Gardevoir making their appearance. We got a Rapid Strike that made day 2. That's pretty cool. And then just so much Arcdura. Like, this is insane. And especially Arcdura Umbreon. So good, so cool. But yeah, so this is pretty cool. We can pop over. We can look at some stats. So, yeah, this was the day 1 breakdown that was given to us by the stream. Practically 20% Lost Zone decks. Now, I'm pretty sure that they combine, like, Turbo Lost Zone, like Sablezard. They basically combine anything that's the Lost Zone, and they put it into one. So it's a little bit skewed, but I mean, it's all Lost Zone. It's about the same freaking thing. So pretty cool. Next up is Lugia at almost 15%, which is pretty interesting. And then a big drop off down to 12% for Gardevoir. This was the number 2 deck, basically tied with Lost Box at the last regional, which was pretty cool, pretty crazy. And then Mew getting a slight bump, and then Arctina, and then Miraidon finishing out the top 6 decks right there. So I think it is important to note that they are probably only putting Arctina here because it is it was like the thing that won the last regional. But if you look at Arceus decks as a whole, they had 18% of the day 1 meta share, which is kind of insane. So yeah, and then of course you have the Lost Box at 20%, and it kind of about all lines up from there. But if you combine all the Arceus decks together like you do with like all of the Lost Zone decks, because I mean there's really only 2 big Lost Zone decks. You have like Arceus decks. You have like Arctina and Arcdura. And then you have a few other ones, but if you combine those 2 archetypes together, you're getting damn near the most popular deck in the room, which is pretty crazy. So, but yeah, and then goes into day 2. Mew VMAX jumps to 26% of the room, and Arceus jumps to 24%. So a great conversion rate for Mew. And I think that kind of just goes to show that the deck still has legs. It's still very strong. And then, maybe people were, kind of thinking it was, counting it out, a little preemptively. But what do you guys think about that kind of big jump there from Mew?
I love it.
I don't hate it.
So I love it. That was the first time Mew's won in America.
Is it?
Yep.
Really?
Yep. I just looked it up.
Huh. Well, isn't that
since it's been out, it's first time ever winning in America.
Like on the regional level.
Yep.
Interesting. Very interesting for sure. So, but yeah. So, of course you can break this down. Arcdura VMAX was 38% of the day 2 if you break it down into specific decks, which is kind of insane. Turbo Lost Box was 26 and Mew was 25. So that's pretty cool. And then Gardevoir still repping pretty decently well at 19% after this all breakdown. So, I'm okay with that. So I will forever be a Gardevoir believer, okay? Get over it, y'all. But, Hartford Regionals, pretty cool regionals. I enjoyed it a lot. But unfortunately, Hartford Regionals does have to be tainted a little bit by something that came up after the event. So we are going to talk a little bit today about a little bit of controversy that came up after the event with our champion, Rowan Stavinaugh. I pronounced that right, I think. So basically, a video came up with a symbol, a very bad kind of symbol, being carved into his head, shaved into his hair by stupid drunk friends. And I think it kind of goes without saying, nobody should ever condone that kind of thing. And it makes sense in a way where people are stupid and they're drunk and they're thinking things are funny, but they're really not funny. So, Rowan did make a statement on Twitter: to all members of the Pokemon community who have been hurt by the video of me that has been circulating, I'm sorry. I understand why you're hurt. The symbol is not a symbol to be thrown around lightly. Symbol represents death of millions of Jewish people, a horrible genocide, and hate that persists to this day. So, you can definitely read this, read all of this. I'm not gonna read all of it, but it is. I think that this is a very well thought out response. He takes responsibility. He explains that he personally was upset about seeing this being put on his friend's Snapchat and the like, and he seems like he feels remorseful. So, so definitely not a great look for the community as a whole. I do feel that Rowan is worthy of forgiveness here, because it was not something that he did. It was his drunk idiot friends. And if I have something to say to Rowan, don't associate with that kind of people anymore. So, you guys, any thoughts on this before we kind of wrap it up? I know it kind of puts a little bit of a downer on our talk about Hartford, but I still think it's kind of important to talk about.
I mean, the issue is Pokemon is and has always been inclusive. Like, it's open, accepting to everyone. Like, I have several friends in the Pokemon community who were of Jewish faith, and it's difficult to be a symbol of a kind of involved in something that you love. I understand the excuses there of being drunk and being with drunken friends. Alcoholism, being around alcohol is not an excuse to have a hate symbol shaved into your head.
Yeah.
Even associating with people who would do something like that
doesn't paint you in a good light.
Yeah, it doesn't speak too highly for character. And it seems like, I understand he's apologized, but no matter what he does in the future from here, that will always more or less taint his reputation in one way or another.
Yeah, it's kind of like one of those things. I think he can be forgiven, but this will not be forgotten. It's one of those kind of things. So, unfortunately. Bobby, any thoughts on this?
I feel the same way.
But yeah, and
just depends. Yeah.
Yeah, it depends on kind of how it goes from here.
Well, because for me, having a history background for teaching, it's two ways that I feel. So that's why it's just you're stupid for letting your friends do that. At the same time, because of one person making it what it is today, what it means of today.
Yeah.
But then on the other hand, coming from the different other point of view, it's just why didn't you just not do it and just consider the fact. Well, the other part is the other history stuff, but this part is just like, wow, you're stupid for hanging out with them people and allowing them to do it. Because I know one thing: if it was somebody like that in a different community, they probably would have gotten like in a lot of trouble.
Yeah,
especially being a big name in the community.
Yeah, and Pokemon definitely doesn't take this kind of stuff lightly. So, while we kind of joke a lot that nobody ever gets banned in Pokemon, honestly, something like this, I could see Pokemon coming in and maybe doing something. Yeah.
I mean, he could get suspended. He could get banned for like probably a year, but other than that,
yeah, like it wouldn't be like a lifetime ban or anything, I think. But like, I think that if Pokemon, because Pokemon has been saying or said they want to be more open with the community and stuff like that and get in our good graces and blah 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 blah. You have missed so many opportunities. Here's a perfect one right here to actually do something. So yeah, while I do believe that Rowan is very remorseful, and I do think that it is not entirely his fault, I think that going forward is very important for him to disassociate from those kinds of people. And I know it really sucks because like because it really sucks to cut people out of your lives that you've known for a long time, even if you do find them problematic. But like, it's the best thing for you. Like, you're just gonna have to accept it and move on. That those people are just not people that you want to associate with. You don't want to deal with that kind of nonsense, and it sucks. And like, yeah, and unfortunately, I had to do it in my life. I'm sure you guys have as well. Just people that you may like, but they're just not good for you to be around, for one reason or another.
My only question subject is he expressing remorse because of what happened, or is he expressing remorse because that is what was expected? True.
That is true.
And because I feel like if the video had never, come to light, he absolutely never would have said, "Hey, something happened a while back, guys. I'm sorry." But I feel that he's being remorseful for the sake of saving face. I don't know him personally, but a situation of this magnitude can't be taken lightly.
Yeah, for sure. And then, don't mind my Discord. It's just acting up. There we go. Okay. I might have fixed it. But yeah. Anyway.
So can we jump into the less painful
yeah, so anyway, still it sucks that we have to bring stuff like this up, but it unfortunately has to be said. And but for now though, it is time for us to get into some more interesting things as we go into everybody's favorite segment, Guess That Flavor Text. So this week we have Dallas, which is going to be doing things for us today. Why is my Discord acting up? I don't know. Can you guys still hear me? Okay, there we go. Right. So, why is it?
Dallas broke it.
I probably broke it. Okay. Hey, look at that. We got. I think I got it back. So, all right. I fixed it. Great. So yeah, Dallas, it is your turn, my friend, to try to stump Bobby and I with a Guess That Flavor Text. What Dallas is going to be doing is he's going to be picking a card, and then he's going to read the flavor text on the bottom, and then Bobby and I will put our two brain cells together and try to guess the Pokemon that flavor text is talking about. We have a few lifelines. We can guess the set name, the stage of the Pokemon, and an attack name on that card. So yeah, and depending on how many lifelines we use, we can get from 4 to 1 point. And if Dallas stomps both of us, because we have 2 heads going up against 1, Dallas will win a point. So Dallas, hit us with it.
Pick one, slab or no slab.
Oh, we're going
Slab.
to slab. You know we're going to slab.
Okay. Although it has always been mean, lately they seem to become even more vicious and frenzied.
Become mean and become even more vicious. So they've always been mean, but lately they've become more vicious and friendly. Okay. See, the fact that it's in a slab should tell us that it's something that people might want, but then again, you have some whack slabs. I've seen some of your slabs where there's some random stuff in slabs.
This is randomish.
Okay. So what do you think, Bobby? I always like kind of starting with the stage. Should we go for the stage?
Yeah.
All right, give us the stage, Dallas.
The stage 1.
Okay, a stage 1. Okay. Vicious stage 1. Okay, Dallas. If we ask the set name, because this is probably some old ass card with some random ass set that is not going to make sense by the wording, will you tell us which generation it's from at least?
I will.
Okay, Bobby, can we go for the set name? That might help a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, give us the set.
Team Rocket First Edition.
Oh, Team Rocket First Edition. Okay, so that would be Gen 1. I think Rocket had some Gen 2 cards in it. I don't remember. I don't know that far back.
They did.
It might. Yeah.
Bobby, you got any guesses?
It's a stage 1.
From the Rocket expansion.
Are you looking at a computer screen, Bobby?
Don't go
No,
cheating
I'm
now,
not.
Bobby. Don't go cheating
I'm not.
now, Bobby.
I was actually looking up my hero.
See, like,
It's the expansion, right?
yeah, it's Team Rocket, like the first edition Team Rocket, I guess.
And it's
be the first Rocket set.
And it's a CGC 8. Not that it helps.
CGC. I don't think that's the very first Rocket set.
Oh no, like the grade is a CGC 8.
Oh, okay. I don't.
Oh,
know
the
what
grade
that
don't.
means.
Yeah, the grade don't help.
I don't.
Uh,
I mean, I have some ideas, but not like a ton. As my Discord breaks again. Do you want to just go for the attack name? Like, you're the one behind on points, so.
I mean, I suck at these games anyway, so it doesn't matter. Yeah.
Alright, go ahead, give us an attack name.
The attack is Frenzied Attack.
Frenzied Attack. Oh, come on. That doesn't really help.
No, it doesn't.
Frenzied Attack. Okay. Bobby, do you have any guesses? Because I have a guess.
Do it.
Is it Firo?
No.
Oh, all right. I guess
I don't
Dallas
know.
got us then.
It's Dark Primate.
Dark
nice.
Primeape. Okay.
That
That makes sense. Like, I can't spell Primeape. Dark Primeape. Wow. Okay. Fair enough, sir. So look at the boy. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So Frenzied Attack. See, like, I thought Firo, because like Firo's always been kind of mean and
Yeah, they were.
anime and shit, and
Pikachu.
You're welcome.
Lately they become even more vicious and free. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, I dig it. Very cool. So yeah, very nice. So that gives Dallas a nice little point bump there. So he now has tied with me for 3 points. So look at you go, Dallas. Very, very cool. So, but yeah, so that is gonna be about that. So I think it is time for us to pop over and we'll take a quick look at the Malmo regional championship. So we only have the top 8 decks for this tournament, but that's fine. I couldn't find the second place Mew list. I'm sure it's out there. It's probably a Mew list, but Malmo, funnily enough, was also won by Fusion Mew. So giving us a little bit of deja vu back from when Arctina won, and then halfway across the world, Arctina won again. But of course, Malmo is a little bit closer.
You mean Mew?
What?
You mean Deja Mew?
Oh my God, Jesus Christ. So anyway, this is actually what I've been kind of liking more. It's more kind of like a hybrid between like the fusion and like the control variant. You still have a couple judge, you have like some paths and stuff like that. Still have Roxanne. Oh, excuse me. But yeah, it's still incorporating this like the Deoxys and the like into it. So yeah, this is probably more like something I would play in the Fusion Mew as compared to Rowan's version. But this is super funny that this Fusion Mew won in Malmo while something else was happening on the other side of the other part of the world. So that's pretty kind of wild. So and then there's 4 Mews in this top cut, which is insane. Yeah, I guess we could just look at the other Mews. This one is incorporating a penny. This was the 7th place list. More traditional kind of control Mew, you know, and stuff like that. Echoing Horn, which is a cool inclusion. I'm gonna have to try penny in Mew. I've never really thought of that, but it makes a lot of sense. I don't know. What do y'all think?
I mean, it's a good card,
I like it.
but you have to make sure you're running the bougie penny.
I have to run the bougie penny. Okay. The other another Mew making rounding at the top 8. Another more standard Mew running an Avery, which is cool, and then the Oricorio. So yeah, Fusion Mew taking it over like these more traditional Mews, which is crazy. I will get to the Lost Box, but I have to gush over my girl.
Right back,
I have to gush over my girl Gardevoir here real quick. Gardevoir making a top 8 appearance, which is very nice. I very much like that. They're playing the split of the 1 Judge, 1 Roxanne, which is what I really like a lot. They did go down to 11 energy. I don't love that. I've always touted 12 energy in Gardevoir. It just helps with matchups so much. But then again, Goodra seems to have fallen off like so hard. So you don't really need to get that 10 as often anymore. So who knows? Maybe 11 is the way, because you really only needed 12 for the Goodra matchup anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is what it is.
I mean, there's a glaring thing that it needs, though.
Like a second Arcana?
No, a Champions Festival.
Oh, that is true. That is true. Because we do see 3 stadiums in this deck. We see a Temple, a Collapse, and a Path. That's weird.
Path needs to leave.
That is super weird to me. I mean, it makes sense, but at the same time, if you ever get stuck under your own path lock, like, why would you do this to yourself? like, come on.
Why you'd play a stadium that's going to intentionally hurt you?
Yeah, like, I mean, it makes sense, but at the same time, it's just like, nah, I'm good. Yeah, so just take that path, make it a 12th energy, make it a second Arcana, Gardevoir, make it a Champs Festival.
I mean, we have them.
We do now. And then we'd have the Miria. The Miriam, still no Clara. I guess I'm the only Gardevoir player that plays Clara these days, so whatever. I still like it. I love Clara and Gardevoir. I think it's just so good. But yeah, so cool Gardevoir deck. I love it. It's very cool. And then we got some Lost Box variants, so we'll just touch on these. So this is kind of looking like a more standard Turbo Lost Box. They are including the Drapion, though, which it seems like a lot of Lost Box decks have been cutting. But then again, they also don't have the Kyogre, like we've been seeing some of these other ones include, which is like that big, swing point for a Mew matchup, which is important.
I have the feeling that Drapion's going to be making a very large comeback.
You don't say.
I mean, kind of.
Yeah, so I find it kind of interesting that they're not playing Kyogre, yet they're still playing 2 Pokestop and Trekking Shoes, which is pieces that you'll usually see in Kyogre to, mill that deck faster. Like the Trekking Shoes is super interesting. I think typically you'd see something like Pokegears in this slot or something, but I mean it makes sense. I don't know. I feel like if this deck can find a way to fit in Kyogre, but then again, it's also really low on energy. Like there's only 8 energy in this deck. That's kind of wild, honestly.
Yeah, it's actually. Huh. Oh.
That's a little wild, actually. Like, I don't think I've ever seen something under 9. I usually kind of try to aim for 10 with my Lost Box. Because, like, you're always going to get those, like, painful lost zones. Interesting. That's cool. But, yeah, so that's Lost Box. We have another Lost Box. This one's looking very one-prizey. Very cool. With the Kyogre, including the Zamazenta as well, which is super interesting. And the Stadium Split, very, like, condensed Lost Box as Bobby rejoins us here.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, so you were talking about, like, you really liked the pure single prize Lost Box. What do you think about this one with, like, the Zamazenta inclusion?
I played this build last format also, and it was very, very good. I didn't have to worry about my Raikou or Dragonite getting knocked out and getting 2 prizes. This build against like Mew was a perfect example because I had a really good matchup. I usually just ran over into it at the Cram, and then next turn set up the Zamazenta, knock out a Mew. And a lot of people were very confused on how it worked because Zamazenta was new at the time. And I'm like, it's just a retaliate. That's it. Let me do 220. So, Lugia, it was pretty cool matchup. It was actually really annoying against Lugia last format. But then in the mirror match, it was awesome because you had less things to worry about lost zoning than your mirror match opponent did.
I 2-0'd one of these at Hartford with Lugia.
Nice.
Well, but I also made a mistake because I haven't played against Zamazenta enough. I forgot to look at the ability on Zamazenta.
Oh yeah, the 30 less damage.
Yeah, 160 HP basic as long as it has a metal, right?
Yep. Any energy.
Any energy? Oh. Yep. Is it? Wow, that's
Yep.
a lot better than I thought it was. I thought it had to have a medal on it, which I mean makes sense. I mean you're always gonna want metal on it anyway, but yeah, that's actually pretty cool. So like that gives it actually a little bit more protection if you have to bench it early, which is kind of nice. So. And then rounding out the Lost Box here, we have a Sablezard still running amok, which is pretty cool. We have the Drapion in here. This is actually my first time looking at the Sablezard list. I really like this list. I think that this might be like kind of my definitive kind of Sablezard. Not gonna lie. This looks really good. Just on the surface of it, like, it plays the VIP pass still, plays some nest balls, fog crystals. It doesn't have like the cross switchers and stuff like that you see in sneaking into some Radiant Zards, or Lost Zards, but yeah, this is really good, I think. Why is there a switch and not a switch cart, though?
There's 4 switch carts.
Oh, okay, duh. Okay, there we go. Okay, so even more switch. All of the switch.
Yeah, I personally think that actually playing this like the 4-4-1 is better than having 4 cross switcher.
Yeah, and then the 1 Mirage Gate, which is super
I
cool.
like that deck.
I really like that. It lets you get your Charizard online a lot faster if you need to. Can get Drapion going under path or in a matchup that you like, maybe like a lost a Gardevoir Mewtwo. You can throw it. You can like Raihan, attach the Drapion, get Mirage Gate, attach return, boom, and there you go. 3 prize cards, which is pretty cool. It's a little combo-y, but I mean, when isn't Lost Box combo-y? But yeah, so this is super cool. I think that this is definitely one of those kind of lists that you can take, maybe tweak 1 or 2 cards and just kind of run with it. I really like this a lot for Lost Box. But yeah, any final thoughts on Malmo Regionals as a whole? Seeing the Land of the Muse and the Lost Zones and the one poor Gardevoir just stuck in the middle of it all.
I mean, I'm happy Guardy finally made a top 8.
Yay!
For the second time? Was it second time?
The first time.
No, that's not the first time.
EOIC, obviously. Come on, bro.
That doesn't count.
Bruh! Anyway.
Hey. It has won 2 events. It has won the London Cup, and it has won a event in Japan. So we can't say that Guardy can't do anything.
To be fair, the event in Japan they did have some of the new cards, so which makes Gardevoir very powerful in the next set.
I will rephrase.
Guardy can still make top 8, so
It's never made top 8 on American.
yes, it has.
Actually, I think he's right. Not
No,
in
it
regional,
hasn't.
So
Never made in America.
are we really going American freaking supremacy here? Bruh, come on.
I mean, like, it still is. Look, the highest place it got in North America is 15th. Everything else,
I mean,
it has made.
Okay, but like
It
most
made top 8.
most top players are not just playing Gardevoir. So, I mean, and yeah, I get it. The top players are gonna play the best things. Blah 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 blah. Gardevoir is not one of those things. I get that, but it's still a really good deck. Okay, and it gets even better next set. So.
My thing is, it loses super hard to Lost Box. And honestly, if Lost Box was not in the picture, I think Guard would actually be a really, really well deck. If Sableye, wrong. Lost Box be a deck, but it's Sableye itself, which makes Lost Box to me really super good.
Yeah.
Because honestly, Sableye, let's knock out 1, 2, 3. You have so many targets in the deck, and I just looked it up, and it's a lot to count.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for that situation, and then you have to rely on the Cresselia to remove the 2 damage, that's too much to kind of ask for and set up in a way.
I suppose, but yeah, I don't know.
But other than that, the deck is still. I know the deck's good, but Lost Box being the deck, it kind of deters me from playing it a little bit.
Yeah, I get that for sure. So, all right. So to wrap things up, we do also have a little controversy at Malmo as well. So there was a player that was DQ'd for supposed cheating at Malmo. So this was Oliver Barnett. He did make a big old long document explaining his whole thing. Feel free to read it. It's on Twitter and stuff like that. There's a link to it. Yeah, we're obviously not gonna read through all of this. This is kind of crazy. So yeah, pretty much the long and short of it, what happened is early on in the game, he played a Hisuian Heavy Ball. And of course, Hisuian Heavy Ball lets you look at your prize cards and then take a basic Pokemon, replace it with the Hisuian Heavy Ball, and then you reshuffle your prize cards and replace them. So he was playing on stream. I've never played on a stream before because that came like way after I was playing that kind of stuff. But I hear that it is very disorienting. You have to, your prize cards are way out of the way and stuff like that. So what he ended up doing is he just kind of put his cards back into his hand after playing the Heavy Ball, handed them to the judge, and said, can you shuffle my prize cards for me? Now here's the thing. You are of course welcome to ask a judge to shuffle your prize cards for you. Or shuffle your deck, or shuffle anything for you, but it is still your responsibility to ensure that things are randomized. So maybe the judge didn't hear him or something, but it seems like all the judge did was take the prize cards, put them there, and and then later on in the game, this kind of happened. So it's kind of like half speed, but so you see he grabs the Chorus. He kind of picks up the Chorus and then puts it back down and then grabs the Clara instead. So, yeah, so the way the situation happened, he needed the Clara to win. This was his only Clara that he had. He had to get this card to win the game. So, I don't know. This looks super sketchy.
If he saw the Corliss, that's probably why he did that then.
Well,
it
that's
was like, nope,
the thing.
not the right one.
So you can see it's playing at 50% speed, but the card gets picked up. It's completely removed from the camera that's under here, and then he immediately puts it back down, grabs the Clara instead. So, okay, this is really sketchy.
That is sketchy.
That is super sketchy. And he says in here he didn't see the card and everything. And like, on one hand, you want to give him the benefit of the doubt, because you always want to hope the best for people and stuff like that. But like, he damn near picked the card up, like enough to see the art. If he was looking at it and like maybe he saw like on the reflection of the glass or something, I don't know, but like this was super freaking sketchy. But yeah, and like the fact that it was the only card that he needed to win the game was this Clara right here. I don't know. I don't freaking know. Yeah, so Dallas, do you have any thoughts on this before we kind of just talk a little bit more about his statement here.
Oh, I have thoughts. It is blatantly obvious, in my opinion, that he saw the card.
Yeah.
In my opinion, it appears blatantly that he saw the card. And then he's like, oops, let me grab the other one. I didn't pull it up all the way. I think... I feel like it... Not so much mob mentality, but the fact that a lot of top players were even posting on Twitter, yeah, you could clearly see the card. I mean, people who have been playing for 10 to 15 years, they have a pretty good way of identifying people who are being a little sleight of handy, if you will.
Yeah. So.
Honestly, I think it's cheating that was caught.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that definitely is. Like, coming from Yu-Gi-Oh, there was a lot of cheating in Yu-Gi-Oh, and I was judging in Yu-Gi-Oh. That was blatantly cheating right there to its finest. There is no way you couldn't see that card, and like lifting it up like that and then putting it back down. Nah.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I said, I always want to try to give people the benefit of the doubt. Think the best of people, but it looks incredibly sketchy. And the thing that he says in his big long doc is, like, he says, like, my cards weren't randomized, but then why didn't you notice earlier then? Because, like, if the prize cards were put down in the order that you had them in your hand, like wouldn't you notice that possibly,
He should have known then. If it wasn't randomized properly, then he should have potentially knew what card it was in the order of the prizes.
Yeah. So, and like, he doesn't say anything like that. It kind of seems a little bit like shifting the blamey, which I really don't like, especially if you're trying to shift the blame to a judge. Like, it seems super sketch.
In my opinion, it's black and white. If the judge and the head judge felt that there was enough evidence to disqualify him, that should kind of be the final ruling.
Yeah.
If kind of
no, it is.
Yeah, I mean, if the governing body feels that, hey, this was sketchy, and if essentially, like, I haven't seen any TCG players coming to his defense. So, like, the situation when it comes to Rowan, there were some players coming to his defense to say, hey, let's give him the benefit of the doubt. No one did this with this guy.
Yeah. And, like, of course, like, this is not, like, a North America thing. Like, I mean, there's a little tribalism between regions and stuff like that, and I get that. But, yeah, I don't know. Like, one thing I will give Oliver is he took his penalty like a man, and he fully accepted the penalty. I take some issue with the way that he kind of worded some things, but he accepted his penalty, and it seems like he's fully open to taking whatever comes his way. So I do have to give him that, which is something that I've said in the past. Is like, if you receive a penalty in a tournament, don't fight it. Don't throw a bitch fit. Don't go on freaking Twitter and freaking talk crap about whatever. Accept it. Move on with your life. But so I will at least give Oliver that. You took your penalty like a man, and seems like you're open to whatever comes your way. So good on you for that, I suppose. So yeah, any final thoughts on this whole situation before we get into our little wrap up?
I think we're good.
All right. Cool.
Yeah, we're good.
Cool. So, all right. So as we go into this, so we have some events going on this weekend. So of course, this is the weekend of the Paldea Evolved pre-release, but we still have some events going on with, like, league challenges and the like. So we have Grand Slam games, Grand Slam comics, something like that. Grand Slam down in Rock Hill running a league challenge. This one's in Virginia. Don't mind that. Somerville, North Carolina. I don't remember which store this is. I had to go out 100 miles because for some reason Rock Hill, which is 50 miles away, wasn't showing up under 50 miles. I don't get that, but whatever. So yeah, Flashpoint up in Jonesville is running their challenge up there as well, which is great. And then Otaku is running a Go challenge on Sunday if you're interested in that. But so yeah, and then of course we have pre-releases. So this weekend I'm going to be at the pre-release and then judging the challenge at R&B up in Statesville. I believe Dallas is going to come join me for at least the challenge.
I'll...
Oh, you're going to do both. Okay, cool. There, keep in mind there is actually a couple midnight pre-releases as well. There's one in Jonesville, and supposedly there's also one in Rock Hill as well. So if you're in the area and you want to go to some midnight pre-releases, they're always pretty fun. Go check those out. But I also have something to share with everybody. This is a doc that I put together last night that has every event on the event locator in here. So this is for all of North Carolina and South Carolina. So this is a very nice resource for you all, for anybody in the Carolinas that are looking for events and stuff like that. So like we see, like the next League Cup is at Atomic Empire in Durham. I'm going to be at that next week while Dallas is in Milwaukee. So, woohoo. So that's really nice. And then there's a League Cup. There's only two League Cups, as far as I can tell, in North Carolina in next month. And one's at the beginning of the month and one's at the end of the month. So Jacksonville at Guild Gaming, so which is pretty cool. We also have Go events. VGC events, of course, these are smaller these are usually a lot less than the TCG, so they kind of have their own page. And then all of the pre-release events. This was the one that took the longest. So yeah. And then I guess if you're ever curious about how I freaking organize things for myself, this is my own little thing, but I usually will have this hidden. But it's like what events I'm going to, my contact there. League Cup in Jacksonville. Probably not going to make it to this one. Might send Dallas as my rep. So, yeah.
I'll happily go.
And then just like contacting like stores I still need to contact and all the like that. But yeah, so that is that's a little project that I worked on. So it's just gonna be a nice little resource for all Carolina players, I think. And it's in the Facebook page. It's gonna be probably linked down below in all of our future videos and stuff like that. And yeah, so anyway, that I think is going to be it for us today, guys. Covered a lot of different things today. Dallas stumped us and got himself tied back on Guess That Flavor Text with us. And we have a relatively chill weekend just going on this weekend. Only a challenge that I think any of us are really going to be going to, and then just a bunch of pre-releases, which is pretty cool. So
yeah, pre-release Friday night midnight, pre-release Saturday morning, a challenge afternoon. It'll be fun.
Yeah, I mean, I really only need like some Ionos, maybe a Scramble Energy or two.
I guess I got that too.
And stuff. So I honestly don't need too much from this set. But yeah, so should be pretty fun. But as
I'm probably going to be testing Bax Caliber and Guard with the new stuff.
Yeah, it seems like it's going to be a pretty fun, more relaxed weekend for us, which is nice. So anyway, any final thoughts before we wrap up today, y'all, on anything we talked about today or going forward?
Not really.
I think we were good.
Yeah, we're good.
Sweet. So always remember my moral code: don't be a dick. And that is gonna be it for us today. Like, comment, sub, all that fun stuff. We love you all. Deuces.
Later.
Yeah.